Hey guys, it's Andrew Esquivel here back with another review, and today I'm going to be reviewing my digital pH tester. So, I'm going to be coming at this review in the point of view of an aquarist, because I have, well, a number of aquariums. Now normally with aquariums, everyone recommends a particular test kit for testing your water known as the API Master Test Kit, instead of things like those little strips that they do at the store. Those little strips that they use at the store to test your water are notoriously inaccurate compared to something like a liquid test kit. The problem with liquid test kits are they are a bit more involved. For us, we have to fill up a glass vial to 5 milliliters and then drop a certain amount of drops of each solution in, depending on what we're testing. Sometimes each test requires, or sometimes the test requires 2 stages of solution to go in there. Then you shake it and you wait. The problem with that is it's notoriously inconvenient. So because of that, we tend to do these sorts of tests on routine intervals. And those intervals can be somewhat lengthy, depending on how often you choose to test. The pH tester makes life a little bit easier because we go a stage beyond just testing. We can stop testing and start monitoring. Because of the pH tester like this, all we got to do is dunk it in the water a little bit and it gives us a readout very quickly, which allows me to test, well, 6 tanks in a matter of minutes versus dozens of minutes for, well, what would be the API Master Test Kit. Now, we are going to be using my 40-gallon breeder tank here. It's a freshwater tank that has water directly from my hard water line, because these are all hard water species inside of this tank. So, we're going to be using that as a benchmark. Now, in order to get a benchmark, I have already used the API Master Test Kit here to try and give us a reading to go off of. And, you know, there's a reason why we use like the Master Test Kit, like I was saying before, is because we say that the test strips are notoriously inaccurate. Well then, if that's the case, if this water test is supposed to be so much more accurate, then how come these 2 tests, taken just minutes apart from each other, are completely different colors? One suggests that the pH is 8.4, while the other suggests that the pH is about 7.8, between 7.8 and 7.4, it's about 7.5 is what I'm getting. So I got 2 different colors, same test, same water, minutes apart, and done with the same high-range pH test solution from the API Master Test Kit, regarded as the most accurate water test kit you can get. So, let's see what the third party has to say about this particular issue. Let's pop off the little cap, and you'll see there's this little glass kind of thingamajig inside of here. Be very careful not to break that. And normally they would have you get a little bowl like that and just dip it in and kind of rest it, but it works all the same if you just turn it on and then in the water have the electrode in there, or whatever it is. Let's see, just let it sit, and according to this it is 7.5. And it has a degree of accuracy that you can accept to be, you know, within variance of. But it's about 7.5, which is what one of the tests has told us. Now, this digital pH tester tests within 1/100th of a degree of accuracy versus the API Master Test Kit, testing within a 1/10th of a degree of accuracy in terms of pH. So, knowing that this little thing is saying about 7.5, we can conclude that the water is most likely actually 7.5, which raises a question. How the heck did this get to say part of the water was over 8.4? Is the API master test kit actually accurate? Now, that's a discussion for another day, but it's nice to know that I can have a third party come in and say, hey, this is what it is in my opinion, and compare it to what the test kit is telling me, what I would normally use. Now the thing is, this does need to be calibrated once in a while. It comes from the factory pre-calibrated. To get this model, not every pH tester is pre-calibrated. Comes with a 2 packs of solution to calibrate this with once in a while. It's recommended that after you're done using it, you wash it off in either reverse osmosis water or distilled water, just to get it all nice and clean and any gunk off of the little part that actually does the testing. Otherwise, it may throw off your readings. If you don't use the tester in a while, it's recommended that you recalibrate it. If you use it a lot, it's recommended that you recalibrate it once in a while too. But this brings up some interesting points. So, okay, I can say with reasonable certainty, pH in that tank is 7.5. We had one test confirm it and this confirm it. So, instead of filling 5 milliliters of water in a vial and then doing a high range pH test with the test kit, I can go to other tanks and do tests. And, mind you, every single one of these tanks has the same water from the same water source coming in at the same time. I do all my water changes on the same day of the week, and I do about the same percentage of water that gets removed and replaced. So what happens if we put it in here? Well, you're going to see that the pH of this water is much higher. You might be asking yourself, well, if it's the same water from the same water source done at the same time, why is this pH 8.1 instead of the 7.5 that we found elsewhere? Well, there's a lot of good reasons for that, and without getting into too much about water chemistry, certain factors like driftwood, for instance, are known to lower the pH of water. The tannins of driftwood gets released into the water, and in this case I removed a lot of the tannins by boiling it, but the tannins from driftwood is known to lower the pH of the tank water, which is what helps a lot. Another factor that can alter pH is if your carbonate hardness is very low. That would mean you're susceptible to pH swings when compared to other water that has a high carbonate hardness. Now we can test for carbonate hardness with the API GH and KH test kit. The GH is just general hardness, and the KH is your carbonate hardness. Carbonate hardness is going to tell you how stable your water is, or how well protected it is from swings against pH, and general hardness kind of tells you, well, just how hard the water is. This little device adds a second opinion that is reliable. I have tested it multiple times, and we've seen it with the API Master Test Kit. I'm able to go through all my tanks, and yes, because each tank is custom tailored to each individual species that lives in the tanks, the pH will be affected, even though it's the same water, based on equipment inside of the tank, the bacteria that is in the tank, different factors, all that. So having a digital pH tester allows me to go through all the tanks and monitor each time I come down here, instead of testing on an interval basis. So for that reason, I am going to recommend this little thing. Now, I can't recommend all pH testers because some of them aren't as good as each other, but I haven't had the luxury of testing multiple pH testers against each other. That being said, this particular one seems to do a pretty good job, and I'm glad I waited on this one even though it was back ordered. So hopefully that information helps you. Don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, show your friends, check out my other videos. I got plenty of them, and as always, I will see you next time.